Welcome to the DeFi Standard, and this is Mickey B. Fresh. And we got some great news that we didn't cover yesterday, but we're going to cover today. The former U.S. Treasurer has been added to Ripple's Board of Directors. And we're going to actually go through their whole Board of Directors, which I haven't seen really anyone go through yet, because it's really fascinating. So Craig Phillips did stay on there too, and he's from the U.S. Treasury Department as well. So we'll cover that, and I also want to discuss when will Flare Network launch? That's the question everyone's been asking, so let's really put a time frame on where we could realistically expect that to happen straight from Flare themselves. Also, Bitstamp looking to add Flare Spark token to trading soon. So let's go through some of these pieces and we're going to discuss. All right, so let's start off here with the Flare Networks. So Flare Networks, they have this pinned to their Twitter, and they tell us right here when they're looking to give us an idea, so a realistic answer to when we could expect launch to be. It says plus or minus 2 to 4 weeks at the end of June. So June 11th, 2021 is the last day to claim Spark. This is very important. If you had your XRP on a nano ledger, any other type of hardware wallet, paper wallet, any other self-custody wallet on December 12th, 2020, you still can claim your Spark tokens. You can still get that done. If it was on exchange at that time and it was a supporting exchange, it will automatically be done for you. So this gives us a time frame of early July to mid-June. All right, so this is where we're looking, that later June, mid-July range. And this is kind of where I kind of had an idea it was going to be, given the fact that June 11th was the last day to claim. I knew it was never going to be before then. It was definitely going to be after. So we should be seeing a wave of information coming in the next month or two to prepare us for the Flare Network launch and to receive our Spark tokens, which will be a claim on the whole allocation. And I repeat, the whole allocation. That's all I'll say about that. So what else did Flare have to say that was really interesting? Now, going down here a little bit, they talk about, and I think this is a really important point because David Schwartz talked about this a year or two ago in an interview. He talked about the idea of a decentralized gateway. So a way that a gateway could issue an asset without there being an actual counterparty. And that's what's taking place here with Trustline and the Probity Vault. So by using your FXRP as collateral or your Spark as collateral, you're able to issue this decentralized stablecoin onto the XRP ledger. So now instead of there being a typical counterparty like Bitstamp, for example, there's just the Flare Network. The Flare Network is the counterparty. The smart contract is the counterparty from the Flare Network because you have the state connector system that digests all the data of the ledger, of the XRP ledger, onto the Flare Network. So it could communicate seamlessly. And then on the XRP ledger, it could verify that there's collateral backing that RA tokens. So you could do this right after Network launched, they're saying. There was a successful proof of concept, and Flare calls this a decentralized gateway. So the gateways are a huge part of the whole XRP ledger's design and their core, but they typically are centralized entities like banks, exchanges, institutions, and they then have a counterparty. You have to trust them and have a trust line. With Flare, they're the decentralized gateway for the issuing of this RA stablecoin. Now, the Trustline app and the credit network, we're waiting on more details about, will probably be a fiat on-ramp and off-ramp, because that will allow us to connect to the traditional world. There's more information. We're still waiting on that, so I don't want to speculate too much with that, but Trustline did share their vision with that when we did the interview, Brad Kimes and myself, and also the blogs that they have put out. That is their vision. So it's nice to see this successful proof of concept that we're tying these two networks together. All right, so let's move on now. Now we have Bitstamp coming out, exploring the support of 12 additional assets at Bitstamp. And there's Flare Network, second one there, being explored. And there's so many different exchanges that have supported the Spark snapshot, and airdrop. We haven't yet seen any, but BitTrue, I think it was, maybe Uphold, but don't hold me to that are going to support trading. We expect the majority of them will, because it's very unlikely that Flare or Spark could be ever classified as a security, because there's no investment from anybody on the asset. It's just airdropped with zero monetary value. And now, I am not a financial advisor. That is not financial advice. I'm just saying that as I see it. Basically, that's not one thing to worry about here. So if Bitstamp is looking to support this, for all you who did keep it on Coinbase, you should see that they should be looking to support this as well. So something to keep an eye on. It's great to see Bitstamp exploring Spark. We still have, like it shows, around 2 to 3 months this thing goes live. So we have some time, but we're also really getting down to it. And it's going to come quick. So we really all want to pay attention, and this is our opportunity. As XRP's value goes up, it gives us more value to be able to utilize on the Flare network and put to work and earn yield. That's what has changed in the last year from a year ago, and everyone's exit plans and all strategies. Now it's like you have to rethink your whole exit plan and how you want to go about things, because you could put that value to work on the Flare network and just earn Spark. Just for putting FXRP on the Flare network, you earn Spark at no risk. You're only trusting the protocol. You're only trusting the Flare network itself. You're not trusting any individual counterparty. So that's important to note. And we're still waiting for more details on how that all will actually work out. But your Spark tokens that you receive, you'll be able to delegate them to the votes that are detachable from the Spark tokens to a signal provider, who will then earn rewards for providing price feeds if they're accurate to the Flare time series oracle, and those rewards can be sent directly to your Flare wallet. All right, so that's important to note. So you could still maintain custody of your Spark if you want, but what's really interesting here is you could simultaneously stake your Spark in the F asset system and delegate the FTSO vote to a signal provider. So that's a powerful thing. So if you think, I'm going to sell my Spark for profit, well, you're just selling away 2 revenue streams that can be had simultaneously. So just something just to keep in mind. It's something we don't have with Bitcoin. We don't have with XRP. We don't have with Ethereum. You don't have with XLM. You don't even have 1 revenue stream that's native. With Spark, you have 2 that you could do simultaneously. All right, so that's important to note. So let's move on now. So a lot of people have been talking about Ripple's new board of directors here. So we have Rosie Rios. Rosie Rios has over 30 years of unparalleled experience and expertise in public policy and investment management. She served as the 43rd Treasurer of the United States and was CEO of the Bureau of Engraving and Printing and the U.S. Mint, including Fort Knox. She also initiated and led efforts to place a portrait of a woman on the U.S. currency for the first time in over a century. Upon her resignation in 2016, she received the Hamilton Award, the highest honor bestowed in the U.S. Department of Treasury. Rios was the longest-serving Senate-confirmed Treasury official, beginning with her time on the Treasury Federal Reserve Transition Team in November 2008 at the height of the financial crisis. So let's just do an overview there. This woman was part of the Treasury Department and the Federal Reserve Transition Team. She was in charge of Fort Knox in the engraving and printing of the currencies. And she was there for 8 years, 8. And she left with high accolades. Like, basically, she received this award. I mean, this is not just some run-of-the-mill person they put on the board of directors here. This is a big name who has deep ties to the Treasury, and this was during the Obama administration, which Biden was the vice president during. So following her tenure, she was appointed as a visiting scholar at the Radcliffe Institute for Advanced Study at Harvard University with a focus on millennials and post-millennials. In August 2020, she was honored as one of USA Today's Women of the Century. Rios is currently the CEO of Red River Associates, a real estate investment managing consulting firm, and serves on the board of American Family Insurance and Fidelity Charitable Trust. In 2018, she was appointed as an executive committee member of America 250, the congressional commission responsible for planning the 250th anniversary of the nation's founding in 2026. So this is a very powerful woman who has deep ties to the Treasury and is deep into the real estate and into basically insurance here and charitable trust. All things that come out of like Ripple Impact, and we've seen things with real estate tokenization that we've talked about in the past. Ripple has talked about the insurance vertical moving into. One thing that was interesting that I didn't expect, I thought she took the place of Craig Phillips here. So she did not. Craig Phillips is still on here, and he came from the previous administration, from the Treasury Department. So Craig served as counselor to the Secretary of the Treasury, Steve Mnuchin, where he oversaw the domestic finance. In that capacity, he led policy development for regulatory reform of the financial system under Executive Order 13772, representing a dynamic collaboration of the regulation through an agile and properly tailored approach. He also supported the policy development for housing finance reform, and he supported efforts to enhance the financial sector's cybersecurity. Greg holds a degree in economics from Vanderbilt University. Now, why would they keep him on? He was from the previous administration. But I think it's important to note here that Ripple can't be all political one side just because this administration comes in. And I'm going to stay politically neutral in these videos, and I always will. But I think politics do overlap here, and they do have to be brought up sometimes. That they're keeping Craig Phillips on because, yeah, he was tied to the prior administration, but Congress, Senate, they're still a mix of both. You know, yeah, one might have the majority, the other one's the minority. But keeping Phillips on there, he has those experience being at BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, Credit Suisse, working with Steve Mnuchin and the Treasury Department. So he played a different role at the Treasury Department kind of than what Rosie Rios played here, where she was the treasurer, he was the counselor to Steve Mnuchin, who was the secretary of the Treasury. So important to note, there were some other changes on here. We heard of Sandy O'Connor, who came in a couple of months ago, and she was part of the Federal Reserve Board's Alternative Reference Rate Committee. I know we talked about that in the past. There's been many videos have been done on that. So she's still on there, but there have been some other changes. So let's go through this. I think it's important to note just Ripple's direction, where they're going overall here. So Adam Trademan has taken the place of Yoshi Katao, which is very understandable as he's leading Ripple Asia, SBI mining chip, and he's behind the Blocksets and BRD, which is blockchain-enabled financial services to the mobile generation. Blocksets, we've did a video on in the past, where that's basically infrastructure and the turnkey solutions for these financial institutions to come into crypto. And now the senior members of the board is Chris Larson. He's been there the longest. And now Susan Athey. Now she's been there since I think it's been like 2014 or 2013 on the Ripple board, and she's from Stanford. And she taught at MIT and Harvard. Now Brad Garlinghouse is on there. He's the CEO. And now Anya Manuel, she's another one who comes from government relations. So we have these three different board members who come from government. Two from the Treasury Department, and she's from the Council on Foreign Relations. So, and she's also director of the Aspen Strategy Group and Aspen Security Forum. So she deals with the policies, basically China, Middle East, and things like that. International, she says, Sarah, responsible for Southeast Asia policy. And she was an official at the U.S. Department of State, so State Department. And she wrote that book, The Brave New World, with India, China, and the U.S. So they have a very diverse board of directors now. The question is Craig Phillips going to stay, or is he going to be replaced by somebody else from this administration? I just found it interesting that they basically didn't swap him out for Rosie Rios. I was expecting when I came to this page that she would be in place of him, but they kept both. So that means we have two high-level Treasury Department officials, the treasurer and the counsel to the Treasury Secretary from the previous administration. So Greg Phillips has only been there, I think, a year and a half or so. It's not been that long. So their board of directors, they did some shuffling around here. Ken Kersen, obviously, you don't see there anymore. I mean, he's not needed. in whatever capacity he did play is not necessary. So I like the idea of having this diverse board, this basically diverse board of directors, because that's what helps them navigate and make these deep ties into central banks, big institutions, is the ties that these board of directors, they steer the ship, okay? Like the executives and that we see that work at Ripple, they're great and they're doing the products and the market fit and business relationships, but the board of directors steers the ship. They make the decisions here, the high level stuff, and especially about how they go about this case with the SEC. They're making the decisions on how they want to go and proceed. Larson and Brad Garlinghouse probably consult with them, but they ultimately vote and they have the decisions here. So this is who's steering the ship. Just to let everyone know, it's important to note, especially, I know Ripple is not XRP. They are not the same thing, but they are the biggest proponent of XRP. So it's important to know who's leading the ship with driving adoption on RippleNet and all the other things. So a couple other things I did want to talk about here. Let's go back to the main screen. Now, with Flare going live in the next 2 months, it's very important time now to really pay attention to what's coming. A lot of the community is going to be shell-shocked when Flare Network goes live. They're going to be running around like not knowing what's going on. So now's the time to learn, read the white paper, read the blogs. Flare's website has all the blogs on them. I suggest and encourage everyone to read the blogs. If you want further information and you want to strategize, you can join our Patreon group. A link is in the description below. And we have 2 Zoom calls every week. We have a private Telegram group and a Discord group for those, and daily voice notes that will help us plan and strategize so how you could best be prepared and understand the technology when the Flare network goes live and what you have to do to utilize the value that you already have and put it to work to earn revenue streams. For you, that could set you up for a long time now. And everyone has a different position in life, a different place. So we all have our own strategies, but understanding how it works is very important for you to have a set plan and a strategy in place. Also, free reference is our website, thedefistandard.com. Patty and myself have written blogs up there. There's plenty of voice notes and videos and resources to understand how the F-asset system works, how the Flare time series oracle works, and other components of Flare, because this is new technology that has not been really released on any other type of network. The whole consensus is different. The whole time series oracle, the reward system is different. So for example, last month, Bitcoin and Ethereum miners pulled in $3 billion in rewards and gas fees. So transaction fees and rewards from miners, $3 billion. Now on Flare, that's not going to any single entities like that. Those rewards will go back to the people on the Flare network. So there is an inflation mechanism of 10%, but the difference is that 10% is going back to those people who hold Spark and participate in the network. And where in Ethereum, Bitcoin, those people who earn the gas fees or earn the mining fees, they're dumping that right back on the market. They're not adding development to it. They're not participating in the network. They're just dumping it to pay for the electricity and their businesses. Where on Flare, everyone who participates and is in Spark can delegate vote to earn these rewards. And then you have the F assets that earn you rewards that are already part of the supply. That general rewards pool has 20 billion plus Spark in it. That's going to get released daily out to everyone who has F assets on there. And it's going to depend on the participation rate. If there's less participants, that means there's more going to those less participants. As more people participate, there's less value going around. So that's why the early opportunity is so key here, because that's when you could really stack a lot of Spark early, because the market and community is trying to figure out what's going on. But as they see others making yield and making money daily, then they'll be willing to jump right in. So just a note on what to expect for Flare and what to prepare for. This is a very different network, and Spark is very different than XRP, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. They don't come with native yield. Spark comes with 2 forms of native yield that you could have simultaneously. I'm Mickey B. Fresh, and I'm out.